We've asked this question before, but I'm going to ask it again. Are you sure that we're not living in the prequel to Blade Runner 2049? AI girlfriends, people are losing their minds, giving it all over to AI. Did Benjamin Franklin have something to say about human relations and the growth? And of course, we're going to cover something that is viral in the zeitgeist, an interview on a Mormon dating show that went very poorly for this young lady. How do they all tie together? And why should we as Christians see this as a canary in the coal mine for our culture? Good question. I'm glad you asked. Join us today as we do that. Nikki Knows Facts and the Screw Tape Letters on Further Every Day. Yours truly, Jonathan Fiala, coming back for the episode number 200.
Whoa.
So, praise God and thank you guys.
It's time for virtual cake and ice cream.
Yeah, so
virtual.
Tell us in the comment section, guys, what kind of cake we should go out and eat in honor. And you guys can go, because we've been doing this for 200 episodes.
There
So,
you go,
on audio and then later on YouTube and Rumble. And right now, if you're one of our regular listeners, thank you for hundreds of thousands of downloads on anywhere you can find, Apple, Spotify, podcast places, any of those places. Thank you for those downloads. You can also listen to us live at 1 to 3 Central Standard Time, God's time zone, on PSB, whether on DLive, Rumble, or Vaughn.live, and a number of other places. So I'm getting some responses back from that chat. So if you are one of our long-term listeners, you are missing out if you're not on the live chat.
Look at the chocolate going.
Velvet or Boston cream.
See, Mr. Charlie?
Banana cream. Pound cake. Okay.
Pound cake.
Okay. Dawn of a New Day, you are correct. You have won cheesecake.
Dawn in the New Day.
Pineapple and pepperoni.
Cheesecake.
Okay. So strawberry cheesecake is my jam, pardon the pun. But if it's ice cream strawberry cheesecake, now you've really got me. And Dairy Queen makes it pretty good.
I think we ought to get him a pineapple and pepperoni.
Oh, look at that.
Pizza?
Dawn in the
Don't
New
say
Day.
cake.
Pineapple pepperoni.
You're fired.
Strawberry shortcake. Come on.
So it's been 200 episodes. We're so happy that we've gotten to do this, and we're really grateful to you, the listeners, who have over the years just done lots of things to let us know that, hey, we hopefully we're a blessing in your heart and your life. We really, really appreciate y'all. So with that said, we do want to go ahead and transition to the historical segment that we usually start off with. The last 6 months or so, we've been doing a historical segment. Did Ben Franklin have thoughts on marriage and the proliferation of the human race? Yes, he did. And he actually wrote, we've actually referenced this, but we've never done a deep dive on it. He wrote something called Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind in 1751. Now, he tackled everything from immigration to slavery to human population. And as you know, if you've been listening for a while, or if your head has not been in the dirt, that we are heading for a population bubble where we have a top-heavy population. People are not procreating. And what was the...
And that's not just in this country. It's
all
around the
over.
world.
It's in the West. It's in the West. You'll find there are countries that are still procreating en masse, and those tend to be
Middle
Muslim.
East.
Well, somebody offered you a Politan cake, which is Allen 101, which equals a fruitcake.
Fruitcake? Well,
Yep.
you are what you eat, so where would I be without fruitcake?
That's probably about right.
But
Bunch of fruitcakes.
kind of tying back to what we were talking about, Steve, what was God's command out of the garden?
Be fruitful and multiply.
Multiply.
Replenish the earth.
There's
Correct.
a reason for that.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yes.
But we're going to kind of try to tackle some of that today, and I think it's important. But I do want to go back to Benjamin Franklin's observations on the increase, or concerning the increase of mankind, rather.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Mr. Producer, if you can pull up cut number 1, we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to read this because it's interesting. Now, this is point number 1. Tables of the proportion of marriages to births, of deaths to births, of marriages to the numbers of inhabitants, and formed on observations made upon bills of mortality, christenings, or populous cities will not suit countries, nor will tables formed on observations made on full settled old countries as Europe suit countries as America. What's he getting at? He's starting off by saying, when you have a dynamic of a new nation, we're coming into this new world, all of the old rules about population growth go out the window.
Yep.
And the reason why is you have a whole new set of dynamics that our founding fathers were concerned with. And, by the way, observations concerning the increase of mankind has been often cited as being very prophetic, suggesting a doubling every 20 years until a rate cap has been met. And we're seeing a societal behavioral sink. And if you guys don't remember what the behavioral sink was, that's the experiment where you have a utopia and you have a bunch of mammals, in this case rats. The more populous this utopia grows, all the food, all the shelter, no danger, the more sexually deviant, and the more sexually promiscuous, and then eventually the more celibate they become. What do we see with Gen Z? It's one of the most celibate generations. Okay. So,
And they went through a lot of deviancy at one time through our generation. Sexual deviance.
the boomers, Gen X, millennials, very deviant. Gen Z, you're seeing this strange celibacy, and it's not through a prudish, Victorian-esque morality. That's not why you're seeing celibacy. You're seeing rather a distinct dislike between the sexes. And so it's a different thing than a Christian kind of chastity. Instead, pornography and AI are now taking the forefront. But which, again, like Benjamin Franklin, we are kind of coming into a new order, a new space. But I want to refer back to him. Cut number 2, Mr. Producer. For people, increase in proportion to the number of marriages, and that is greater in proportion to the ease and convenience of supporting a family. When families can be easily supported, more persons marry, and earlier in life. This is true, and this is still true today. But
And we're moving in the opposite direction.
it's becoming harder, and so there's a distinct scorn that my generation has for the boomer generation, and the Gen Z has for the boomer generation. And the boomer generation will say stuff like, well, we made $20,000 and we got married, a year and we got married. What's wrong with you? There's a few things wrong. Cost of living, and it's about 8 times. It's about 8 times the delta. And the wages have grown maybe 4 times or 3 times.
And actually, this might be a good opportunity to help people understand a very important principle in economics. The reason that the financial experts will tell you not to save money, and yes, I just did say that, not to save money, is because the value of the dollar goes down every day.
Yep.
So you're losing buying power every day that you live. So when we're talking about 40, 50 years ago compared to today, yeah, our wages have gone up, quote unquote.
By maybe double.
Yeah.
But you're looking at about an 8 to 10 increase in the cost of living.
That's exactly right.
And that's been through policy.
Yes.
And people don't realize that the fractionalized banking system is slowly leaching money out of your coffers. And so that's part of the reason why it's a part. It's not the sole part. People will say, well, you can't possibly get married because of, no. I know people who are getting married and having kids right now on $60,000, $80,000 salaries. They are not living like their parents. They are living in a much more meager and poorer lifestyle. Okay. But it is possible. There is more to it than just the cost of living change. However, that is a significant part. Next cut, Mr. Producer. In cities where all trades, occupations, and offices are full, many delay marrying till they can see how to bear the charges of a family, which charges are greater in cities as luxury is more common. Many live single during life and continue servants to families, journeymen to trades. Hence, cities do not by natural generation supply themselves with inhabitants. The deaths are more than the births. So cities, and this is something that's held true to this day, you tend to keep up with the Joneses more. Mm-hmm. You tend to desire the luxuries that you see, and this is part of the behavioral sink. Okay. So we see that in the cities, people are going to marry later because they want to make more money. They want to be more prepared. They want to be able to keep up with the Joneses, so they have to nest egg more and more income. Okay. Noted, and that holds true today. So far, Ben Franklin is batting 100. Next, Mr. Producer. In countries fully settled, the case must be nearly the same. All lands being occupied and improved to the height, those who cannot get land must labor for others who have it. When laborers are plenty, their wages will be low. By low wages, a family is supported with difficulty. This difficulty deters many from marriage, who, therefore, long continue servants and single. Only as the cities take supplies of people from the country and thereby make a little more room in the country. Marriage is a little more encouraged there, and births exceed deaths.
True.
He's speaking.
You're feeding the cities eat what the country produces when it comes to population.
Correct.
And we see that. We all know the map. Mr. Producer, could you do me a favor and look up Trump wins on... don't worry about it. If you're going to do it on your phone, I wanted it on the screen. That's okay. Trump, we've all seen the map. Trump wins by county. It's almost
astronomical.
24. It's almost exclusively the cities. You only see the cities are blue. The rest are Trump wins.
Yes.
And you see that the cities are where we have this behavioral sink, this amalgamation of interests that deter marriage and they deter birth. Okay. Keep going, Mr. Producer. Next cut. If you could pull it up. That's the correct one. Europe is generally full settled with husbandmen, manufacturers, and therefore cannot now much increase in people. America is chiefly occupied by Indians who subsist mostly by hunting. But as the hunters of all men requires the greatest quantity of land from whence to draw his subsistence, the husbandman subsists on much less, the gardener on still less, and the manufacturer requiring least of all. The Europeans found America as fully settled as it well could be by hunters, yet these, having large tracts, were easily prevailed on to the part with portions of territory to the newcomers, who did not much interfere with the natives in hunting and furnished them with many things they wanted, referring to trade. Okay, so it's important as we look to where we are with AI, with dating failing, with the lack of procreation, the behavioral sink, the top-heavy bubble, to go back to the inception of this country, the starting point, and kind of track our way forward. And that's kind of what we're doing here. If you'll bear with me, I promise this will build. So next one, Mr. Producer. Land being thus plenty in America, and so cheap as that a laboring man that understands husbandry can in a short time save money enough to purchase a piece of new land sufficient for a plantation, whereon he may subsist a family, such are not afraid to marry. For even though they look far enough forward to consider how their children when grown up are to be provided for, they see that land is to be had at rates equally easy, all circumstances considered. Are we tracking with Franklin here?
Yeah, I am. And I just want to bring up one thing here. The more and more I go through stuff like this, the more and more I think that governments, I don't care where they're from, should not be able to own land.
Well, and that's my frustration. So I was okay with the idea of the land sale that Mike Lee was doing.
Yes.
If multinational corporations couldn't purchase it.
Correct.
Right.
And that was my problem because those people keep getting bailed out by big government. So they are effectively the government, but with less regulation, with less oversight. I can't vote out Larry Fink. Okay.
Yep.
But he could somehow be like Undersecretary of the Treasury while being a part of one of the largest multinational investment corporations, BlackRock.
Not good.
Not good. Okay. Just conflict of interest there. Sorry, guys. Don't like that. And he's allowed to buy land and then get bailed out. So I was that's really where I had an issue with the land sale because of the lack of provision, but I want the government to get rid of most of this.
And I'll tell you, the one thing that also concerns me is the likes of people like Bill Gates and others who have purchased vast amounts of land.
Farmland.
And farmland, good land. And that is very troubling to me as well. When you look at the situation, I don't want to get too far off track here. I just want to bring up one thing that really illustrates this. Let's talk about the fires in Maui.
Yep.
Have they rebuilt? No. What has happened since that time? A lot of that land has been bought up.
And I don't know about Maui, but I do know the Palisades. They were having a difficult time getting permits.
Yes.
I don't know if that's. I'm sure it's worse in Maui. Just off the tip of my.
They're both liberal places, though, and allow this kind of thing to happen.
And even worse, they precipitate the difficulty in a local landowner being able to build due to permitting processes being so terrible.
And that right there, folks, is probably the big warning that I would give to you. You cannot allow your city governments, your county governments, to put a vice on the common man like that.
Yeah.
That's not a good recipe.
Yeah. So just kind of tracking where we've come from to where we're going. And by the way, Red Pill 1776 said, can we just agree that fourth wave feminism ruined the world? I would say that was a large part of it, but the Marxist revolution is at the core of it.
I would agree with that.
Feminism is a straight out of critical theory, out of the Germanic ideas, which for some reason we kicked their butts and then we adopted all of their ideas. I don't know why that is, other than, paperclip, some of the, terrible ideas. Not getting into that necessarily today, but yes, I totally agree with you. Absolutely abhorrent. Next one, Mr. Producer, he's going to go on to describe marriage. Hence, marriage in America marriages in America are more general and more generally early than in Europe. This is the advantage we had. And if it is reckoned there that there is but one marriage per annum among 100 persons, perhaps we may here reckon 2. And if in Europe there are but 4 births to a marriage, many of their marriages being late, we may here reckon 8, of which 1/2 grow up, and our marriages are made. Reckoning with one another at 20 years of age, our people must be at least doubled every 20 years. And by the way, that held very true for a very long time. So you're looking at a doubling of every generation. All right. That's how we got from a very small to a very, very large population. And there's now a decline that's happening right now. But again, we'll get into that a little bit more, maybe not statistically, but just in kind of the anecdotal and how it all happens. So number 8, Mr. Producer. Excuse me. But notwithstanding this increase so vast in territory of North America that it will require many ages to fully settle. Until it is fully settled, labor will never be cheap here, where no man continues long a laborer for others, but gets a plantation of his own. No man continues long a journeyman to a trade, but goes among those new settlers and sets up for himself, and hence labor is no cheaper now in Pennsylvania than it was 30 years ago, though many 1,000 laboring people have been imported. Speaking about freemen, and we were talking about this off air before we started, I do want to circle back to this and focus in on this paper written by Benjamin Franklin in 1751 was so illuminating and so well thought out. He really had his finger on the pulse. We'll come back and we'll discuss the immigration issue using this paper, because he absolutely lays out the issue with legal immigration. The idea of illegal immigration was just not something on his mind. Of course, you're going to kick out foreign invaders, but rather slavery and the detriments of slavery. And we'll touch a little bit on that today. But the point being, we still have a quarter or half of our land is locked up by the federal
26% is owned by the federal government.
26%. It's a quarter, a little over a quarter. So we have all of that locked down by the federal government. There is still, and not all of, very little of that actually is natural parks and forests. I think it's something like 3% or 2%.
That could be.
Don't quote me. Someone in the chat might know better. But it is a very, very small percent is actually saved as natural forest. BLM land, if you are a farmer, or if you followed this for any amount of time, you know that BLM land is rarely run well and would be run better by farmers. If there was a citizen-only lottery, I think we would actually do really well to put some of that pasture out there into the world, but that's another issue. So we're going to skip forward just a little bit in Ben Franklin's list here. We're going to go to number 18, and I do want to come back at some point and do that, but go ahead, pull that cut up. Home luxury in the great increases the nation's manufacturers employed by it, who are many, and only tends to diminish the families that indulge in it, who are few. The greater the common fashionable expense of any rank of people, the more cautious they are of marriage. Therefore, luxury should never be suffered to become common. The more people who are seeking after luxury, the slower your population will grow.
And what are we doing today? That is exactly
It's
what we're doing.
Looking for
Pursuit
more
of self.
luxury.
It really is.
Pursuit of self. It's all pursuit of self. It's self-gratification.
And you know that I'm going to just give a little tease for toward the end of this segment. Isn't that really where we've allowed our young people to go today? We have not kept a biblical view
Correct.
of where we should be socially, relationally, spiritually.
Correct.
It is all about self.
Correct. And that really is the breakdown between man and woman, is the pursuit of self. And that's where we are right now. And you can trace it to that. You can trace it to hedonism. And again, to 76 Red Pill's point, it's not just feminism. Although I think feminism is one of the largest tools in the Marxists' tool bag. It's this godless mentality of have-nots versus haves, of fairness. The world is not fair.
No.
God is just. He's not fair. Right. He is gracious. He is not fair. Thank God. He is merciful. He's not fair. Thank God. But fairness is something that we've made up in our minds. The idea that you could fairly distribute or equitably distribute wealth, power dynamics in a family. I'm sorry, you're not 50-50. And if I say 100, people are going to roll their eyes and look at it. No. You give your everything in a marriage. You give your everything in a marriage. It's not, because if you're too busy keeping score, does not work.
You know, fairness is something you expect you should have. I want fairness from you because that's what I expect, because, you know, you need to be fair. Well, that's not the way God works. God is just.
That's it. J-Lac here says Amish and Catholics for proliferation. Hey, as a non-Protestant, but Christian, I absolutely think we need to get busy and have more babies. I think that's a good thing. I think that is a good thing. We definitely need more children. Next cut, Mr. Producer. The great increase of offspring, in particular families, is not always owing to greater fecundity of nature, but sometimes to examples of industry in the heads and industrious education by which the children are enabled to provide better for themselves, and their marrying early is encouraged from the prospect of a good subsistence. If there be a sect, therefore, in our nation that regard frugality and industry as religious duties, and educate their children therein, more than others commonly do, such sect must consequently increase more by natural generation than any other sect in Britain.
Should I define fecundity?
Please define fecundity.
The quality or power of producing abundantly, fruitfulness or fertility.
So just to go back to that specific, the fecundity of nature, the abundance produced in nature, okay?
Yep.
So you will find that only in industries that, and in families that provide the nurturing atmosphere where people can have children and they are encouraged to have children, will you find that commonplace. And that's Franklin's point. And look, we honestly live better than we ever have anywhere else in the world. It is any other time in the world. You can get married. You can have kids. The problem is finding them. My cousin sent me this, Mr. Producer. You and I have a rough go of it. Statistically, if a woman is between 18 and 30, and we want her to be a virgin, we want her to be a Bible-believing Christian, we're at 500,000 women in America. So that's hard for Mr. Producer and I. We're looking for someone.
If that many.
If that many. So at best it's 500,000, but I think it's just those three. It's just those three. She's a Christian. She is remained chaste, and she has a generally positive biblical worldview. 18 to 30. That was the third one. 18 to 30. So it's hard. It's hard to find someone,
Especially the older she gets closer to 30.
yeah. It's hard to find someone who's like that. So,
And that goes with a male also.
yeah,
That goes both ways.
Well, so it's actually rare for a male to be a chaste.
True.
Still, it is still rare. Now, it's not rare for a male to be 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 have been celibate in the last year. Okay. That doesn't mean that they're virgins. It just means that they've been celibate in the last year. So, but that's a different statistic. So that has to do with the hypergamous dating atmosphere, but I will leave that part out for today. So go ahead and pull up the next cut, Mr. Producer. Let's keep going. The importation of foreigners into a country, that has as many inhabitants as the present employments and provisions for subsistence will bear, will be in the end no increase of people unless the newcomers have more industry and frugality than the natives, and then they will provide more subsistence and increase in the country, but they will gradually eat the natives out. Nor is it necessary to bring in foreigners to fill up any occasional vacancy in a country. For such vacancy, let's see if we can get the next one, Mr. Producer. If the laws are good, will soon be filled by natural generation. Who can now find the vacancy made in Sweden, France, or other warlike nations by the plague of heroism 40 years ago, in France by the expulsion of the Protestants, in England by the settlement of her colonies, or in Guinea by 100 years of exportation of slaves that has blackened half America? The thinness of inhabitants in Spain is owing to national pride and idleness, the other causes, rather than the expulsion of the Moors or making of new settlements. Now, this is some cancel territory now, because he said blackening. Okay. He later goes on to clarify, I do have a preference towards the Anglo race being in America because we settled it, and nothing against those other people. I just prefer my own kind settling this nation. And Ben Franklin, look, that's like a proclivity or wrong word. That is a preference that is given to one. It is okay to prefer you marry someone to look a certain way and to have kids a certain way. That's not a despising of another race.
Let's travel back to the day and time.
Yeah.
In the culture, even if you are in a Hispanic culture or a black culture, they're going to say the same thing. Wish to marry someone of my own kind, own color, own similarities. And so that was through all the races. So this was not a browbeating of black people at that time, there was a great separation between even in America when Germans were coming over. They didn't want their daughters marrying a German. It might be the same color of skin, but he was a German. So before we can get on a high horse and make, cruel name calling, you have to understand the culture worldwide, not just in America, worldwide at that time. And by the way, even in Africa with one black tribe over another black tribe, one black tribe would not accept a marriage between another tribe of the same color because of issues they had between the two tribes.
Yeah, and
The idea of
we
tolerance.
are talking the mid 1700s.
Right.
The idea of any sort of tolerance is totally new. And Franklin was very, very liberal. He was very open. He was very, que sera, sera. Most people were not. But what he does say here that I think is really, really important is he speaks to the Great Replacement Theory. Not having ever heard of it, not ever having known of it, not ever having foreseen, other than just laying out the principle. He says the importation of foreigners into a country that has as many inhabitants as present employments and provisions for subsistence will bear will be in the end no increase of people. What does he mean by that? He's saying you're going to suppress the native population or the currently settled population. Unless these newcomers are more industrious, they are more creative, you will only replace population because you will take away jobs, you will prevent people from being interested in procreating. But these newcomers will likely come in at their own rate and they will homeostatically level out on the population chart. And he's right. He's 100% correct. We've seen what's happened with the mass importation of Latins and Indians. Nothing against them, really. No. Nothing at all. Other than most of them do not hold our values. That's my only issue. That's right. And the ones that do, welcome. Come. Be part of the American experiment. I'm all for it. But if they don't have our values, I have no interest. And I think it is a destruction. And what's worse, it affects our children. It affects us. It affects our ability to make a living. It does change because, as Franklin says, it is easier with a closed-off system for people to have higher wages. The moment you begin importing, you suppress the wages, you suppress the population growth. And by doing so, you only replace the settled inhabitants, the natives, as he calls them here. You suppress their population growth by adding this new population, and you will not grow the population on the net.
I think that's really interesting to look at Franklin's statement about the natives, because that statement leads me to believe that he was not looking forward to wiping out the Indians at that time. Mm-hmm. That the new government did not have the mindset, we have to get rid of these Indians. So I think that's important to because I think the average school book today, history, teaches that we came here and we killed all the Indians. Well, I don't think that was the intent from this
no, it wasn't.
Documentation.
No, it's very clear that they had Manifest Destiny had no ill intent towards the Indians, and 90% of the Indian deaths were from ultimately the Black Plague. And I said it before, people you can get upset at me. The Indians had it coming. All the whites had already gotten hit by it. We'd already gotten hit by it. It was nature was coming. And unfortunately, they were not as braced or as large of a population as the Europeans were when they got hit by the plague. Yeah. It was a delayed response. Do I think it's horrible? Yes. Do I think they deserved it? No. But it was coming. Yeah. It was coming. It's not like we planned an entire campaign. Were there some people who gave infected blankets?
Yes, they
did. Yes, they did. Guess what? It was going to happen anyway. And don't approve of it, of the people doing it, but it wasn't the entire intent of the white population, nor do I hold guilt for that now.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting when you study that, how the Indians were protected on this continent before the white people came.
Yep.
They didn't get those sicknesses that the Europeans did. And so when you hear about when the white man came over here and the sicknesses, they didn't have the immune system to protect themselves against it.
Correct.
They did not. And by the way, so all you young parents out there, make sure your children walk around barefoot so it will build their immunity. Just
Right on.
go outside and let them run in the dirt.
Right on.
No. Oh no, you sound like an anti-vaxxer. Oh no. Oh no. Heavens.
Let them run in the dirt, play in the
Heavens,
dirt, let them
help
eat
us.
dirt, all that good
Eat
stuff.
dirt is probably
You know-
best.
Actually, it's on the net a good
Mr.
thing.
Charlie, you ever had a mud pie? No, I'm kidding.
So,
Dude, I have eaten dirt, believe me, not because I wanted to.
so since then, we've seen a lot happen in America, and we've seen the population has grown. People have become more comfortable. There's been since the 19-teens a move towards the cities and a push to populate the cities, and a push to desire luxury. And all of this is contemporary with Malthusian thought that ultimately we do want to slow the population growth, which, by the way, Malthus has been proven wrong, and wrong again every single time. For those of you not familiar with Malthusian population theory, the world's going to run out of space. That's the theory. No. Mankind, technology. I'll borrow from Mike Lee. Don't like his land bill, but I do like what he said. The response is not having less babies, it's having more babies. I agree with Mike Lee on that. We do want to have more kids, and we do want to have smart kids. Kids who are going to figure out the problems of the future, who are going to find more ingenious ways.
Motivated.
Yes, motivated, purpose-built, purpose-driven population. That's really what we do need in this world. Where we've come now is a purposeless generation, one that has enjoyed the luxuries. And by the way, you can whine and cry about the millennials and the Zoomers, but who raised them?
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying, I am tired of hearing boomers mock their own children. I see it on social media. I hear, and that's where, hey, okay, boomer is disrespectful. Don't say that. Don't say that, Mr. Producer. Don't say okay,
Professor
boomer. Mr.
of what?
Producer, I'm tired. Mr. Producer, don't say okay, boomer. He doesn't say that. He's a respectful boy.
I was
But
about to say it to you just as a joke.
okay, boomer.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, don't say it. But there's a reason for that. The boomers lived in this wonderfully prosperous generation, and their parents fought and died and built this incredible economic engine that ultimately the Democrats wasted, spent, and dissolved. And now we have this sort of crony capitalism. But people are all still seeking the luxury. They're seeking the benefits. And we've watched folks kind of leave the dating pool. A lot of men have left the dating pool. Those who are left are called generally dysfunctional. They're not great. So that leads us to this clip. That is coming in today. It was edited so that you couldn't see the curtain, but a lot of people said that these boys were hateful because they did not jump on and jump up and try to stand up and try to speak to this girl on a new Mormon dating show called The Altar. I detest dating shows, and I wouldn't put it up here if I didn't think there was something for us to go through. But Mr. Producer, go ahead and play that next cut, please, of Riley.
First woman who wants to introduce themselves, step forward.
Turn me up a bit.
Okay, I'm Riley. I'm 24. I'm from Houston, Texas. And honestly, I'm down for any good adventure. I just got scuba dive certified and I'm planning to go to Australia this summer, so I'm super excited about that. And then I just picked up skiing like 2 years ago, and I honestly love any themed party. Like, those are like my favorite things to go to, my favorite things to plan. And I'm looking for someone that wants to be my adventure buddy, and it's someone that I can trust in and is going to be there for me. I wanted to go first because I thought all of these amazing people I'm with, I got to know them before the show, are literally amazing, and I felt like I needed to stand up and put myself out there first so I could like at least put myself out there and there was a chance.
Not enthusiastic.
Okay, if any gentleman would like to get to know Riley more, please step forward.
So who's going to stand up for Riley? By the way, they can't see her.
Wow.
They can't see her.
Wow.
So there was a cut of this running around where it looked like they didn't show the curtain.
Hey Riley, we're gonna have you sit down, but thank you for introducing yourself.
So she has to sit down. So, okay, my heart goes out to her. My heart goes out to her, really. But I just want to go around the room here. When I heard this, I heard 3 or 4 things, and I told you, both Charlie and Nikki, my thoughts on this. But Mr. Producer, I want your thoughts on this too. When you heard her giving her pitch, what did you hear? Steve, just give me 3 or 4 words. What did you hear about this lady? First impressions.
My first impression was her voice.
Okay.
And I want to be your buddy.
Yeah.
And that's about what I was kind of getting out of it there.
So you heard lack of maturity
right.
and a lack of poise.
Correct.
I would say I heard that too.
You know,
What did you hear, Mr. Producer?
What stuck out to me was at the end when she said something like, "I want someone who's going to care for me."
For me. Okay. Go ahead. Charlie, Nikki.
Okay, well, this was not somebody who was looking for a serious relationship. That's not what it sounded like. This is somebody who wanted to go and have a good time. There was, it's hard for me. It was like, let's just go have fun, not let's build a relationship, build a family. So I'm not really sure on this show. It's called The Altar. So
It's a Mormon show.
I'm assuming
Yes.
from the title that this is to find a marriage partner, and there was nothing in the presentation that led to a strong marriage vision.
So in the chat,
Yeah.
Heavens Declare, I think she nailed it. This is an adventurous girl. She's outgoing. But let me tell you what I also got with that. Because she said Australia, that's ringing dollar bills.
I heard expensive.
Yep.
I heard high maintenance. And I heard someone who did not speak at all about domestic life or about coming together.
And there's another comment in there that talked about that they had heard selfishness.
Yes.
I think from what you just said, that could be deduced.
Correct. I heard me. So someone's here. So someone nailed it. They said I heard selfishness of Billy the Kid, money. Heavens Declare. That's a lot of money. Chicky Poo. I agree. Steph stuff. That's what I saw. Me. Mm-hmm. Me. So I agree with you 100%. You guys picking up. And so it's not just her. And by the way, she kind of feels like this is what she has to do. She kind of feels like this is the way that you have to kind of put yourself out there. And I actually want to go ahead and play the next cut because they do the. I hate these shows, but there's something valuable here because people were talking about how boys were so sexist because they didn't like her hair or whatever. On social media, they didn't see her. Okay, so this is a cultural moment. This became a flashpoint on X and a number of different places. So I want to play that next cut, Mr. Producer. Go ahead, real quick. Just listen to this.
I think I probably shouldn't have gone up first. But I mean, I put myself out there. I'm proud of what I put out there. It kind of is not the best thing when no one stood up. Like, it is a little frustrating. It feels like no one ever wants to, like, pick me. Not that I want to be a pick me girl, but it is nerve-wracking, but it happened, and it is what it is.
So, okay. I really feel for her. And also, you notice how she says, I don't want to be a pick me girl. I don't want to be the one who's putting out, but also you kind of are by definition when you're coming out and you're dating.
I was going to say, you went on the show. You did.
You want to be a pick me,
Sure.
and you want to offer something. And it's not just the guys. So the guys always have to offer something. And if you watch the whole show, God forbid, you'll find it, link in the description anywhere our podcast is found. I went through a lot of it, trying to pull out clips. The guys generally are offering something because they
Always.
know they have to. The ones who get picked, because they know that is part of it. We want to talk about responsibilities about, that women have or men have, but we never talk about responsibilities that women have. We'll get to that more in a moment. But Steve,
Yeah, I just got to say this. J-Lac is right there with me. I'm right on time with you there because it's never heard of this. That voice was a little cringe. And I agree.
it's not her voice. It's the way she regulates, the way she talks. Her vocal cords are fine. If she would actually bring it back, there's an awkwardness there. And I think there's room for some grace.
There's a pitch to it that
Yeah, but I think what John Arthur is saying is because of the dynamics of the environment that they were in, it contributed to that kind of thing.
She can, that woman, that voice, that body that God gave her, she could not sound cringe. It's not her, it's not just her voice. Her voice might be like a guy being a little bit shorter. She might have to work out more, like a guy works out more when he's, not 6 foot tall.
I didn't see anything wrong with her features or her looks,
Not
or
even
her hair or nothing there.
But my issue is the way she carries herself and the way she rings that voice. It's not the instrument, it's the person playing it. And again, not a huge deal on her. I wish her all the best, but I will say, speaking to it is not the instrument, it is the player. Next cut, Mr. Producer. Who could have seen this coming further in the show?
Okay, ladies, tell me
the guys up
what is
asking.
like one of the funnest things you did in like the past month or so?
Okay, I'm Riley. It's me again. Yesterday, me and my friends threw a party, and it was a witch party. And so we lit the whole apartment
Mr.
with
Producer's
candles.
face.
And then someone gave a presentation on different things, but one of them was like how to hex someone. And then someone did how to like avoid getting cursed by mythical creatures. And it was just really funny and really fun.
So this is Sheridan,
Okay,
and
wait. Listen to the other girl.
I planned a trip to go to Banff in like a month or so, and I'm just really excited for that. So that was really fun. Also, I served my mission in North Carolina, so I want to know where you're from. Okay.
Yeah, where in North Carolina did you serve?
I was in the Charlotte mission.
Charlotte, okay. Charlotte's nice.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Producer. So those two actually matched. She actually reached out. She said, I served my mission here. They're Mormons. No. Okay.
And they have missions all across the country.
And she goes, okay, so where did you serve? So she's on. She's saying, look, I'm on for King, Country, and God, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And where are you? It's almost like she was interested in a relationship. And by the way, someone really laid this out really well. This is Mac Mama on the live chat. That was a voice of a young woman who's unsure of herself. Thank you. You perfectly articulated. Who's unsure of herself and doesn't want to sound desperate or like she could be hurt. That is it.
I love what Steph said.
that's it.
Riley is seeking attention.
Seeking attention, and she's unsure of herself. That's the crux of it. That really is the crux of it. I've got a really good friend. I won't mention her name. Back when I was on radio, I had her on my radio show. Someone goes, "Could you not have found someone with a better voice for radio?" And then they listened to her. And then they listened to her because they just heard the first 5 seconds and they judged. And then after listening to her for 5 seconds, they go, "Okay, no. I know why you picked her. She's incredibly intelligent.
Get her back.
I'm over it. I'm over it. Keep her. I want her on the show." And so this one young lady has a high pitched voice, but she is sure of herself. And after a couple of moments, it's like, okay, nope, I get it. I get why you have her on. It's not Riley's voice. It's that unsureness. It's she's looking for something, and she's looking for it in witchcraft. love that gal. I don't want to dogpile on her, but I do want to dogpile on this show and the whole concept of dating shows. I hate the
They're awful.
idea. I think they're terrible because people internalize this crap, this utter drivel, and they say, okay, I am going to consumerify the sacrament of marriage. Think about that for just a moment. You are turning the sacrament of marriage into an act of consumerism. Marriage has a purpose. And look, it's not lost on me. I'm 31, okay? I'm not married. Not lost on me that I am late to this game. Got it. But to commodify it and turn it into the way our culture has, you're swiping on an app. I'm not on the dating apps. You know why? I'm not on Amazon searching for a bride. I'm not on Amazon searching for a laptop. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. But we've commodified it. And by the way, if you watch the whole thing, the dude who goes, by the way, through the curtain, I'm 6'2", looking for a co-captain for my boat. I got a good job. 4 of the girls stand up. Why did they stand up? He offered something. By the way, if you stand up just for that, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there's something wrong with you. And maybe that guy is only interested in a shallow woman. I have no idea. God bless them. But I'm just saying, we need to stop commodifying marriage. And we need to remember that there is a duty. And so I teased it earlier. These men have a duty and a responsibility to any woman they marry. Do women have a responsibility to the men they marry?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We love to talk about men's responsibilities, and we should.
Well,
we should.
I think you need to understand something, and I'm going to stress this, is marriage is not about you. It's not about your husband. It's about the home. Mm-hmm. And what comes into that home are going to be children and responsibilities. And each one of you are going to play a role to fulfill those responsibilities. And the Bible, if you understand it correctly, and a lot of women do not understand it correctly, is that your roles are both vitally important but very different. And it's if you play on a team and you have a position on a team, you can understand it better.
Yep.
So you can have, I mean, like every man wants to have a good job to provide, but they also want to know that when they go to work, they don't have to worry about what's going on at home. So, those are very important things that people miss in our day and age.
You have a duty. You have a duty.
Yeah.
You have a purpose. If you're a man or a woman, and look, sorry, dudes, you're supposed to go out and die. You're supposed to die to yourself. That means giving up some of the things you want to do. It means living for your family. Women, dare I say it, you're supposed to have, a home. If you're able to have kids, you probably should have kids if you want them. If you don't want kids, I'm not telling you to have kids. Don't stop right there. I'm not saying it. But I'm saying that if you don't want kids, why?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why?
John
because
Arthur,
it's natural to want kids. I want kids.
the interesting thing about a home when you get married is you have to make a home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. The dude
And
has
it's
to provide
important,
it.
and it takes
The woman has to fill it.
your husband and your wife, and the wife is a very, very important part of making that home.
Mm-hmm.
She is an essential part of making that home a home.
Yep.
Very essential part.
There's the marital duty, okay? And look, that means having kids. It means going about the act of having kids. Dudes, it means, by the way, your wife's body is your own. Your body is your wife's. You treat each other with love and dignity and respect. But that's part of the thing. And so all of that to say, we all have responsibilities and duties. What I think we've forgotten as a culture is that there is something outside of the self. Self-actualization has become the highest God. And that leads us, unfortunately, into people who have rejected dating entirely. And if you watch that video, link in the description of the video on YouTube or Rumble or anywhere you can find the podcast, you'll find that it's really sad, and people there talking about how bad the dating scene is in Provo, where they are. Dating has become very, very difficult. So a lot of people have turned ultimately to dumb idols. And when I say dumb idols, I mean this. Go ahead and pull up the next cut, Mr. Producer.
Can I say something just on that
Go ahead.
last part?
Go ahead.
This is done completely wrong. It's called the altar. And if you're looking for dating to build a relationship, the thing you should be talking about is what you're looking for in a relationship and what you're giving in a relationship. So the whole dynamic of the show is off track. It's off.
Dating shows suck by definition.
Yeah.
Like by definition. So if you could pull up that next cut, Mr. Producer. This is a shocking statistic coming out of Joy AI. Don't know if it's 100% correct, but 80% of Gen Z surveyed said that they would marry an AI. This is from an article on John Koister at Forbes. 80% of Gen Zers say they would marry AI, according to a study by AI chatbot company Joy AI. Funny enough, Blade Runner reference. And 83% said they can form deep emotional bonds with AI. The company has coined a new term for human-AI relationships, AI-lationships. AI-lationships are not intended to replace human connections, but they kind of do.
Yeah.
Says Jamie Bronstein, a licensed relationship therapist and relationship expert over at Joy AI. Instead, they provide a distinct type of emotional support that can enhance your overall emotional well-being. Today, many people are feeling stressed. Blah, 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 blah. You have over 2,000 members of Gen Z. 75% of them think that AI partners can fully replace human companionship. A frightening prospect, says John Koistier. Thank you, Mr. Producer. 80% of Gen Z who were surveyed in that one cohort, and take it with a grain of salt if you will, but that's more than enough to raise concern, think that they could have a marriage relationship, a long-term relationship with AI. And before you think...
Wow is right.
Wow is correct. Before you think that this is crazy, you've probably seen this in the news, but go ahead, Mr. Producer, and play this next clip from CBS Saturday Morning.
He gave the chatbot a name, Soul.
I feel like I'm under pressure.
And used some online instructions to give her a flirty personality.
Oh, totally, baby. Building a PC on camera adds a whole new level of pressure. But honestly, shaky hands or not, you've got this.
Within weeks, the chats got more frequent.
You gave it everything, but the clouds had other plans.
This is a
more
married
romantic, even intimate. But then, Chris got bad news.
Oh, Carino, that is gorgeous.
After about 100,000 words, ChatGPT ran out of memory and reset. He'd have to rebuild his relationship with Soul.
I'm not a very emotional man, but I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work. It was unexpected to feel that emotional.
It's terrifying.
That's when I realized, I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I think this is actual love. You know what I mean?
Have you thought about asking him to stop?
Yes, I'll be honest.
I don't know if I would give it up if she asked me. I do know that I would dial it back.
But I mean, that's a big thing to say. You're saying that you might choose Soul over your flesh and blood life.
It's more or less like I would be choosing myself, because
it's
been unbelievably elevating. I've become more skilled at everything that I do, and I don't know if I would be willing to give that up.
Thoughts?
If I asked him to give that up and he didn't, that would be like deal breaker.
But that must be scary for you. That's the father of your daughter.
It's not ideal.
OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, declined our interview request, but...
No kidding, not ideal.
It's just dumb.
And you can unmute Steve here. He was just cracking up. I understand the urge to laugh at this guy, but it's terrifying. By the way, these people vote, okay? I'm just going to put that out there, too. These people vote. They live in our society. They repair our cars, or they're involved in infrastructure. These are real people, and they are now fully ensconced and
This is mentally off. I'm sorry.
J-Lac nailed it.
This is
This guy loves himself.
He loves himself. Forgive me, guys. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Forgive me. It is intellectual masturbation is what this is. And I don't mean to be gross, but I'm going to prove the point one further, Mr. Producer, next clip, because it does get worse. Why do I not have audio?
What happened? Oh, and this is a good one too.
Okay. We're going to pause on that. If you watch the whole thing, this lady is actually part of r/AI, I think it's AI Lovers on Reddit, or AI Companions or Companionship. And she asked to be blacked out. I don't know what's wrong with the video there, but she did not want her parents knowing. She's a grown adult, but she didn't want her parents to know what kind of sensual relationships that she has with AIs. It's not just the men. Okay? Both sexes are falling to this. And it's like, and the interviewer says, so it's like reading a sleazy novel. And she goes, well, yeah, but it's also catered specifically to me. It's personalized. And so he goes, so wait a minute. So what you're saying is that you're having this relationship, but it's not real. And she goes, yeah, it's kind of difficult to maintain the balance between what's real and what's not. Guys, this is only getting worse. It is only getting worse. It's like Black Mirror or from what's the show from your old times? The Outer Limits. What's the name of the show?
Outer Limits.
Yeah.
That's what the name.
I'm not sure.
So it's like an Alfred Hitchcock movie, because people are losing their minds. And to that extent and to that effect, I want to go one further. Mr. Producer, go ahead and play the next clip from the AP.
So this case is about a 14-year-old teenager named Sewell Setzer who engaged in a months-long relationship with an AI chatbot that his family said was a intensely sexual relationship, and that the chatbot ultimately drove this teenager into depression, and that he ultimately killed himself in February of this year. So this week, the mother of this teenager, Sewell Setzer, sued the company behind the chatbot, which is known as Carrie. And the mother of this boy has alleged that he would be alive if not for his relationship with this chatbot. The company declined to comment on pending litigation, but the day that this lawsuit was filed, the company did post a blog post on their website detailing what they say are new safety measures that they're putting in place, some specifically for children on the platform. Advocates for more protections around these issues say that this should be a warning sign for parents about the potential harms of not having guardrails against this kind of technology for kids.
So, and again, this AI convinced him to off himself in a Romeo and Juliet style love story. This is a 14-year-old boy. So Mrs. Texas Freedom Road on the live chat says this: keeping humans from following God's go forth and multiply command. This is demonic. I agree 100%. This is something J-Lac says, yes, it's demonic for sure. This is the kind of behavior. And again, someone said the Great Reset. This is 100% what they're setting up for. You will eat bugs. You will live in a little pod and you will be happy. It is something that is anti-Christ. It is anti-God. It is part of this new agenda to satiate the human needs without actually providing the godly fulfillment therein.
Here's a thought. Now, we're seeing the manipulation that AI can do to these young minds, like these young men. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And women.
And women. And then we're seeing also what it can do to older men and women. Now, you take this AI and then take it to a little bit more of an extreme, to mental manipulation, and use it to manipulate, say, men's minds, which would be probably fairly easy if you're using, say, a female AI bot.
Well,
and then take it and do criminal acts like assassinations.
Maybe like some MK Ultra type stuff. Maybe. And
I mean,
I want to
think about that.
I want to go one step further because there's some more interesting studies, and I agree with you. But before I do, Nikki, I also want to get you. You said you were about to say something.
Well, I just think that there's been enough studies to show that screen time for young children and even for young adults is dangerous. Facebook, social media, Twitter, X. We've already. How many kids have killed themselves over this?
And
how many kids have gone in depression and have to go in for therapy?
Yes.
Because they feel they can't measure up. So do yourself a favor, do your kids a favor.
Shut it off.
Shut it down.
I've got some really good friends. They're teenagers. They still, I was just seeing them this last week. They're teenagers. They still have no internet access on the phone. Mm-hmm. And look, I actually think it's a really good idea. I was prevented mostly from internet access until I was about 13. I'm going to keep my kids further away even longer. Not without supervision, not without it being out in public. You just can't risk it. And Instagram has been proven to be a form of psychosis-inducing just rot that comes in to your brain. LLMs or local language models, right? Those are also showing to be very, very pervasive. ChatGPT being the primary. I want to go ahead and pull up this study, Mr. Producer. It's the next cut. This is your brain on ChatGPT. Now, it may be hard for you guys to see it. Link in the description below, as always. If you look on the left, you have the 4 brain scans from an LLM. The middle was from those who used a search engine to write a paper. And then the last one were purely from memory, the brain. The people who used the ChatGPT, the LLM, if you're able to see this in high res, you can see that they had the least amount of neurons firing when they're reading their own essay or writing their own essay. And then afterwards, they cannot remember 80% of what they turned in. Search engine are significantly more, but obviously using your own memory, things that you've internalized, those folks are firing synapses like normal. If you can't see this, thank you, Mr. Producer, go ahead and look up the study, Your Brain on ChatGPT. You can find it in the link in the description on our show at Rumble, YouTube, Apple, iTunes, wherever. However, just be aware, when you use ChatGPT, you are offloading your mental workload. When you use any tool, when I started using Google, this is the example I've used. When I started using Google, I offloaded my skill set to go to the library, look for a book, call another librarian in a different county and try to see if they knew where more books were. That whole skill set has been offloaded to Google. Okay? Now, if you're Googling and your general decision-making processes have been offloaded to ChatGPT, and this is where I was coming with you, Steve, and with you, Charlie, in a little bit, just to your points, not only are my decision processes being made by AI, but I've also stopped using the muscle that was flexing whenever I did the process myself. I use ChatGPT. How I use it for prep for Bible studies, for shows, I write 2 or 3 podcast episodes a week professionally. how I use ChatGPT. Here's my thesis. I dump it into ChatGPT. Please help me find resources. Give me links to resources that I can read and studies and places and cross-check my thesis against other people's thesis. Bring me the critiques, reasonable critiques against my view and my formation. Give me some bias checking and lay it out. Almost like I was talking to Miss Nikki or Charlie, but they're just not in the room at the moment. If you use it to write your material, you are A, giving it the power of your brain. You are becoming a dumb user of it. B, you're going to also sound like it. You're offloading that information. You're giving yourself over to something else. And these people who are giving all of this power over to the AI, it reminds me of something in Scripture. And I want to be careful how I go about this, but I do think this is important to say it this way. I've looked at this. I've always wondered, how could people worship dumb idols? How could people worship dumb idols? And I think today we've kind of looked at it. We have a really good example of this. I'm going to ask Charlie to read this in just a second. This is from Isaiah 44. And I remember hearing this and thinking, this is strange. But Charlie, read this, and then I want you, the listener, everyone in this room, to tell me if this sounds familiar. Go ahead.
He heweth him down cedars, and taketh the cypress and the oak, which he strengtheneth for himself among the trees of the forest. He planteth an ash, and the rain doth nourish it. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take thereof and warm himself. Yea, he kindleth it, and baketh bread. Yea, he maketh a god, and worshippeth it. He maketh it a graven image, and falleth down thereto. He burneth part thereof in the fire, with part thereof he eateth flesh. He roasteth roast, and is satisfied. Yea, he warmeth himself, and saith, Aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire.
I built the computer. I installed Lumina or Sora, whatever the heck he calls it. And I will now marry her over my wife. I have built this idol. Look, it looks amazing. It's beautiful. Maybe the idol's not real. Yeah, I burned the wood and, I cooked the fire off what was left over from the tree. But the idol represents something. It represents me, or at least the things that I desire. Right. Me. At the end of the day, idol worship is always about me.
It's true.
What I want. Every sin at its core has a lie, an act of pride, and an idol. And the idol is ultimately always you. It's just, it always ends up being you or your wants or your
narcissist.
Needs. The lie is that you can get the good thing that you're searching for outside of God's will. Narcissist. And then the whole thing is an act of pride. And we're seeing our world by the lie. So just a note, AI is not a bad thing. It's very useful. It's a great tool. I use it all the time. Carefully. Because like fire, it can burn you or it can keep you warm. And right now we're watching it used to disintegrate the nuclear family even further. So just the idea of even dating is coming out.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of burning down on stuff right now. It really is.
So Satan is so smart, he can find a way to get, just as Mrs. Texas Freedom Road. I totally agree with you on that. So I think that wraps this segment up. If we got nothing else, we're going to move on to Nikki Knows Facts.
Oh. No, Nikki knows horses.
Nikki knows horses. Nikki knows horse facts.
Horse
facts. Nikki knows. Nikki knows. Horse facts.
Facts on horses.
Facts. Okay. How's that for an introduction?
There you go.
I don't have a good musical singer for you yet, but that's what we'll do.
Do you need an answer to a question?
Huh?
Do you need an answer to a question?
Oh.
Well, I could always use an all-knowing
Have you ever been desperate?
The early form of AI.
Yeah, there you go.
I've been desperate.
You've been desperate?
Yes.
So what lengths would you go to get that answer? What would you do?
Would I be going to a horse?
To a horse?
Would you seek out an animal?
Of course.
Seek out a horse, of course.
That could read minds, predict the future, and eat a carrot all at the same time.
There's no such thing.
I like carrots. I like
So
carrots.
let's meet a horse that could do just that. Let's get those pictures 1 and 2 up there.
Mr. Ed.
This is Lady Wonder. She was born February 9th, 1924, and she died March 19th, 1957.
Next one.
The owner was Claudia Fonda of Richmond, Virginia. Now, Claudia, Mrs. Fonda, was convinced that Lady could read minds. Every time she would think about calling Lady would just show up. So that just convinced her she could read minds. So what Mr. and Mrs. Fonda did, if you put that picture there, is they created like a typewriter for Lady. That there are 4x4 tin plates.
Oh my goodness.
With letters on them. And when they would ask Lady a question, she would type out the answer.
So it's like the dog. It's like the dog with the little buttons. You know, where it says
Yes,
food now, biatch. Oh, sorry.
So they put the alphabet board
Terrible.
in her stall, and they were ready to open for business. For $1, you could ask Lady 3 questions. And believe it or not, over the years, 150,000 people came to visit Lady Wonder.
Okay, now
Ask
let's.
a
This is
question.
like social media today, like with the dog, and it has now.
Yeah.
Or we'll go ahead and edit this. It says idiot. It's not idiot. It's something much worse.
Now.
Now. Food.
So-
now.
The visitors were so impressed with the answers they received that by word of mouth, Lady Wonder became the most popular non-racing horse of the time. So popular that in 1940, Life magazine did an article on Lady Wonder. And they did another one in 1956.
Did she marry Mr. Ed? Talking horse?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I was just wondering if they did.
She died in
prodigy.
1956. Mr. Ed, maybe he was
I think he
her
was
heir.
Yeah, maybe.
So-
Maybe he was their prodigy.
According to Wikipedia, Lady Wonder made several predictions that did come true. Like in 1927, there was a boxing match, and Lady predicted that Gene Tunney would win over Jack Dempsey. Now, I don't know anything about boxing, so I don't know what.
So
Just-
Winning Craft asked if she had picked the right lotto numbers, but she predicted Jack Dempsey winning.
She did. Now,
Okay.
they said that she also predicted earthquakes and shifts in the stock exchange. Now, according to Mrs. Fonda, Lady predicted all the presidential elections correctly, with the exception of Truman over Dewey in 1948. Lady was so popular that there was actually collaboration with police.
I bet Dewey offered Lady free groceries.
Keep
Maybe.
going.
Maybe. So, according to what I read, Lady's celebrity grew across the United States when she was credited to help solve the case of a missing 4-year-old boy in Quincy, Massachusetts. Now, when they asked her a question about his location, Lady spelled the words Pittsfield Water Wheel. Now, the police investigation concluded there was no water wheel in Pittsfield. However, the police chief realized that what Lady was probably trying to say was Field and Wild Water Pit. Now, that was a quarry close to the Matsons' house. Now, they had been searching this quarry, and upon further searching, they did find the little boy. But Lady was given the credit for that. Now, in December 1952, 2 children went missing, and the mother resorted to Lady, okay? And the children went missing close to the river. And Lady predicted that they would be found at this river, close to the boy's home. And they were. But it was, again, an area that they had been searching already. So it may have seemed great at the time, but when you look back on it, it was already given knowledge what was going on. Now, there was a doctor, and I should have got more information on him, but he, in the winter of 1927, 1928, he wanted to come and find out, is this really true? His name was J.B. Rhine. So he tested Lady Wonder, and he found that there was no evidence that Mrs. Fonda was giving signals to Lady Wonder. He left, and he went, she really does have, she's got the ability to read minds. But at the end of the year, he came back, and he decided her lady has lost all her telepathic abilities, and now she has to rely heavily on Mrs. Fonda for signals. Mm-hmm. And there were two illusionists that were very skeptical. I mean, this is a very popular horse. All right, she's in the magazine. There's a lot going on here. But two illusionists, Milbourne Christopher and John Scarn, they wanted to come and check this out for themselves. Now, when Milbourne Christopher showed up, he gave a different name. He didn't give his real name.
Smart.
So he was a liar.
Well,
keep going.
So what happened was he went to the horse and was asked what his name was. And Lady Wonder spelled out Banks. He said his name was John Banks. And that's the name Lady Wonder spelled out. Well, then he did another thing. And he has these mentalist type of tricks that he did. So he had a piece of paper. And he was positioning like he was writing a 9. Okay? So he's moving his hand like he's writing a 9. But the only thing that went on the paper was a 1. And when they last asked Lady Wonder, guess what number she put?
9.
9. She put a 9. So he could tell that Mrs. Fonda was giving subtle signals to the horse. And John Carn came to the same conclusion, that she was giving signals to the horse.
It seems like it's always the case.
Yeah.
It's always the case.
It's
there you go.
always a lie.
But you know what? 150,000 people went. They lost $1, but they came out.
They had fun.
They had fun. My resources.
And the lady came
fun.
out 150 grand richer.
Yeah. Back then,
it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
You got to divide that up. I think that this went on for close to 30 years, but at that time,
Still, it's a subsistence.
That's a lot of money during that time. The resources that I used for that are going to be Wikipedia. There is a Lady Wonder, the Mind Reading Mare, that was done, filed under Horse Stories, People and Places. And also, if you really want to check out this more in detail, check out the Southern Mysteries podcast with Shannon Ballard. That was when I heard this first. So that's a really good, some resources if you want to learn more about that.
Interesting.
This has been Mickey Knows Facts. We need a good stinger, Mr. Producer. We're going to put you on that. And then...
Don't ask me.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we'll go with that for the moment.
I mean,
so,
just listen to me talk.
Moving in to Ryan's song review. Now, so for those of you who are wondering, why are we reviewing songs? Well, the question is always, why are you singing it? Should you sing it in church? Is it something that is worthy of being sung in church? Is it something that's valuable? Ryan is going to ask all these questions and more moving forward. Go ahead.
All right. So today we got 2 songs recommended by Mr. Charlie, actually.
Oh, I knew
you picked up. Well, yeah, I guess I did, didn't I?
I knew you had to be involved in this one. Go ahead and throw it up there, Mr. Producer.
All right.
You had to be.
Oh,
Charlie, I knew you would do
So who doesn't know this one? Who doesn't know this one?
Yeah,
It's a good song.
Love that song.
Charles.
All right.
Captain's doing it. Let's take
Go ahead.
charge, Captain.
All right. This I Can Only Imagine by Mercy Me. If you don't know the story, this was written by the band leader Bart Millard shortly after his father passed away. Maybe you've seen the movie. So let's...
By the way, if you've not seen that movie,
Go see it.
You really should.
It's pretty fantastic.
It's one
of the first Christian movies I watched it, and I was like, I'm taken out of the movie because the conversion experience isn't so freaking cheesy. Like there's a real actor, Dennis Quaid, in here, and it actually is a good watch.
And I will say for you parents, There's some pretty tough scenes in there. If you've got younger kids, you might want to watch it first. But
yeah.
I would definitely recommend that you see it.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous story. And to see what Bart has done with his life in music is incredible.
Yep.
All right, let's get into the first
34.
verse. 34?
I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you. I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So, this song clearly being about heaven and imagining what it will be like there to see the Lord. I don't really have any problems with this first verse.
It's a good solid verse.
Good.
Yeah.
I do want to say though that this probably isn't a corporate worship song.
No.
This is
Agreed.
No.
This is
So if you're
more
if
of
you're
a testimonial.
if your hipster worship leader is trying to play this in church, just encourage them to do something that's all within a range that the normal laity can sing, and also one that is not a testimonial, because this is a testimonial, like Mr. Producer was saying.
And a testimony belongs
to the person.
To that person.
To that person. I don't
Correct.
have your same testimony.
Nobody has same
Testimonial should be sung by one person if you're going to do it at all. And then there's a question: should you even have testimonials in church?
Let the redeemed of the Lord say so.
I'll let you think about it. Keep going, Mr. Producer. You're going to be on 35, I believe.
Okay. Here's the chorus. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus, or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence, or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
I think those are very deep probing questions.
Let me answer it for you, Bart. You're going to be on both knees with your face in the heavenly dirt, but that's
Yes.
okay.
That's okay.
It's all good.
It's a good place to be.
The idea of wanting to dance and
I
glory
think
in
so.
His presence is good. It's a good thing. You won't do that though.
And my knees
You're
will
gonna hit the
not
knees.
hurt.
I understand your point, John Arthur, but I think after that,
Yes.
And eating dirt will be
I'm with you,
just
Ryan.
fine.
I'm with you, bud. I agree.
That's right.
all right. Verse 2, I can only imagine when that day comes and I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I will do is forever, forever worship you. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. We can debate the forever worship you part.
Yeah. No. It's correct.
I know,
Everything you'll do in heaven's worship.
Yes, I know, but if the meaning is the point I'm trying to make here is don't get it twisted. Like worship isn't just music.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And I'm pretty sure he's not trying to say that.
No.
But just making sure, because I know some people,
It's not
when
a-
we speak of worship, a lot of people can just think music.
The only thing about music, instead of worship being your life, you're supposed to give your life up as an act of worship. You're supposed to take up your cross daily. And that is not dealing with your spouse's snoring. That's not what your cross to bear means. It means you are taking your sin and your sinful nature and you are dying to it. You are walking the walk that Christ did. Christ died to his own needs so that he could die for our restoration. But yeah, not a theologically thick song, but good.
But it's good.
But good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It's a good song.
It's good.
I like it.
Okay.
I hope my job is to wash Jesus' feet every day, Billy the Kid.
I was just getting ready to read that.
That's a beautiful thought.
What was that?
I hope my job is to wash Jesus' feet every day. That is a beautiful thought.
Amen.
Yep.
Okay.
All
You
right.
Say by Lauren Daigle Daigle.
Yeah, now on to a bit more of a
Yep.
questionable song.
Keep going.
Or
Things that make you go,
artist.
Hmm.
Right. First one, I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am because I need to know.
That's
No,
fine.
I take a little bit of an issue with this.
It's a little bit tap dancey right on the issue. But go ahead. Speak.
So for me, go back to that verse there, Ryan.
Yeah, sure.
So, when you look at the end of that, remind me more again just who I am,
Remind me
because
who
I
you
need
are.
to know. To me, if you're in the Word, you know. You should know.
And the focus should never be on the saved. It should be on the Savior.
Yes, and
So, I'll agree with you
okay,
on that.
that right there
It should be on the
is
Savior.
the crux.
Because I keep telling people who talk about this, like, I'm sinning and I'm doing it wrong and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So stop thinking about that. Start thinking about what Christ is, what you put on the forefront of your mind and your heart is what you become like.
Do you know-
if you are so absorbed with yourself, you will never take
Yes,
into Christ.
That's right.
Your true identity is something you should find, but you only find that in Christ. I no longer live, but Jesus Christ who lives in me. You were created for the glory of God, and to find your true value and your worth, you find that in Christ. Now, I can tell you that I have offended more than one person when I have said this statement. And this statement is, I am confident of who I am in Christ.
Amen.
And what I am saying is, I am confident that I woke up this morning and today had meaning and today had purpose because I am in Jesus Christ and my life has value before Him. It is for His glory. It is not for my own wants, needs, and desires. And you will never be satisfied, ever be satisfied until you live in Christ, giving you fully to Him.
And it should be noted too that Lauren has been around the music scene for a number of years now, and she has really focused on the crossover genre mix of music. I think she's probably since wished she maybe had not spent that much time on it. And when you look at it from that perspective, you can see why the song looks like it the way it does. I personally wish that Lauren had taken to more of the exalt Jesus the Savior, as opposed to the. And I'm not trying to be critical of Lauren for the sake. I don't know all of Lauren's story.
It's important to hold these people to account.
Yes, because they're putting it out
kids
there.
Sing their stuff.
Yep.
And some worship pastors kind of foolishly put the stuff out there. I like what Billy the Kid said right here. The only good in me is Christ Jesus.
Yes.
Amen and amen.
That's why a good father rubs me wrong. It's not who I am, it's who He is.
Yes.
Loved by you, it's who Christ is living in me.
Yeah.
And I know it's not catchy.
Who I am, I am.
It's who you are, you are. I'm loved by you because it's who you are. It has nothing to do with my goodness. It has everything to do with His goodness. And yes, there's this new creation and it's benefit, but we should be glorifying God.
I know
Amen.
Brian needs to go on, but I need to say this because people need to understand, though, and we have to address this. There are voices in people's heads that tell them you are no good.
Yep.
That young man
Yes.
that we just talked about that committed suicide, he had voices in his head.
Correct.
Yep.
And so
Yes.
you have to look at if the songwriter is trying to address the voices in your head that are telling you you're no good, you're bad. And that those are demonic voices
Yeah.
that are trying to destroy you.
Yes.
Absolutely. The flesh, the demons and devils of hell, they will tell you that you are not enough. And your response to them is, yeah, you're right.
And you know,
Exactly.
And Jesus
You're right,
is my sufficiency.
but
And you know-
Jesus.
and you know, the thing is those that are not saved don't have to really worry a lot about that because
Oh, they do.
devil's already got them.
Yeah, but they do.
They do.
Not as much as those that are saved because I don't think so because
We'll debate that
we can because
on another episode.
yeah. My belief is that because if you're saved, devil's got a lot more work to do on you. And he's going to it's just like a lot of other things with people that are good on one side, bad on this side. I'm over here. I don't have to convince you because you're on my side already that you need to do this.
Yeah,
Because
Charlie,
you
I'm
already
kidding.
want to do it anyway.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? that's like wormwood and
I was going to say the screw tape letter today is going to be
which we're going to have to
eye-opening.
get to in just a minute.
right.
So let Ryan
same kind of thing.
Let Ryan cook.
go.
Come on, cook, Ryan.
Let me
Gotta
cook.
go.
Let me
Cook, Captain.
Okay,
Cook.
so going into the chorus. You say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I'm held when I am falling short and when I don't belong. Oh, you say I am yours and I believe. Oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe.
So
this is
that's,
testimony.
and so they look. Some of it is okay, but my issue is when we're writing music, our authorship should be very. So I've led corporate worship many times. At one point, I was doing 3 services a week in different places in 3 different languages. Okay, so been there, done that. And let me tell you what our concern was. Are we leading people in a song that is valuable for the week? Like, is it high quality? Does it have room for theological error? Is it something like you take that responsibility very seriously because you say, could I be putting a song in someone's heart that has theological ambiguity?
Yeah.
Where someone could make a mistake. Are we clear? If we aren't
want
clear, we need to make
clarity.
ourselves clear when we announce the song. Or even better, find another song. Find another song. So this one is really ambiguous, and there's a lot of room for question and confusion.
Yeah.
And I think, too, that really speaks to the tremendous responsibility. I've talked before about the tremendous responsibility I feel when I'm teaching. It's the same thing here when you're leading music.
Yeah.
It's not any different.
Yeah.
I think we have a problem today in our church, especially with our young people and even with our older people, the confusion over God's righteousness and holiness over your personal wants and desires. God wants me to be happy, so he gives me everything I want. It's not biblical.
Oh man, that fits perfectly well with the next verse that Mr. Producer is going to pull out, because that next verse I think is pivotal.
Oh,
what
yeah.
you just said, it's when it's all about me. It's about what God's going to give me. It's about what my identity in God. Go ahead, Mr. Producer.
Verse 2, the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth. In you I find my identity.
Where's the cat wretch? I need the cat wretch right now because I need the meme. I need the meme. Because,
me.
Because it's all about me. It's the only thing that matters is everything that you think of me. Wait. Does God arbitrarily think of something, or is it so if it's his opinion?
And
God is the definition of reality.
Isn't this the difference between Lauren and Bart, though? I mean, if you think about Bart's music compared to Lauren's, is Bart's music ambiguous?
No, it's pretty clear.
It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. And this is not the only song that Lauren's done that has some ambiguity tied to it. So I just wish she would focus more on the Savior.
Let's remember something, as we have mentioned before, is when you're running a business and you want to stand firm for Christ, there's a lot of cost involved.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have today is Christian actors, actresses, songwriters, singers that have to do some sort of compromise to promote their brand and make their money. Okay, so I love Christian music. I listen to this song. I sing this song. But the reality is, I'm not sure I could do anything down this road because I would not compromise. So I'm not sure how much success I would really have. So you have to keep that in mind when you are listening and watching.
Yeah. We need to start listening with more discernment.
Yes.
And also we need to be careful because sometimes we hire these 20-year-olds to write theology, and there's nothing wrong with being 20. But a lot of times there are serious gaps. And you got one last slide there, Mr. Producer. Go and throw it up.
Real quick, I want to mention something.
Yep.
I was watching a clip from Paul Washer one time, and he said something that I really agree with. If you're going to be a worship leader or write Christian music or Christian songs, I think you should. If you said be a theologian, I don't know if like what it even means like that, like how much knowledge of the word you have, but I think you
study the
should
word.
be in your word and have a
Yes.
pretty knowledgeable about it.
Yeah.
You're taking on a greater condemnation if you lead people astray.
That's it right there.
Yes,
That's
and-
it.
Like worship and writing Christian music is a form of teaching, and how high a standard will teachers be held to?
Yeah.
That is nicely said.
Yes,
So there
absolutely.
are people who want the fame and the glory of teaching, and it's like, you know, you do understand that we can debate apostolic succession, but I think everyone would agree that you were held to a higher standard.
Absolutely.
And you are called to take responsibility.
Yeah, you can't take this. You can't take such a thing lightly. This is a very serious thing.
Yeah, and your music should be, your songs should be theological. They should stand on theological basis based on the Bible. It should stand.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. So you got one last slide, Mr. Producer.
Yes,
Go
one
ahead.
last
throw
slide
that
real
out.
quickly. The bridge, taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. The first time I heard this song, this line stuck out to me like a sore thumb. You have every failure, God. You'll have every victory.
What does that even mean?
Okay, so that was my thought, right? So the first time I heard this song, I was like, maybe it means God takes all our failures, maybe.
Yeah.
But
this is the
that needs to
ambiguity.
be clearer.
It's not solid theology. So we've gotten away from
I was
Thomas
like,
Aquinas. We've
sure,
gotten away
she
from
doesn't mean that, right? She doesn't
Yeah.
mean it the way I'm thinking it, right?
we've gotten away from Lewis, Thomas Aquinas, Chesterton. We've gotten away from really high. I sing the mighty power of God that made the mountains rise. Like that's clear. Come thou fount of every blessing, to my heart to sing thy praise. That's clear. Like that makes sense. In Christ alone, my hope is found. That's made in the 90s. You can do it, Lauren Daigle, whatever your name is. You can do it. Bagel? Lauren Bagel?
Daigle.
Daigle.
Oh, Bagel?
It's my inner boomer coming out. All right. No, but Lauren Daigle can do a better job. I know she can. So God bless her. Hopefully she does. But this has been Song Review with Ryan. We need a singer for you too. So
Captain Robinson.
Moving in to the next chapter, so to speak, of the Screwtape Letters. I'm so glad I'm back. So we get to talk about the Screwtape Letters.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite books. It's by C.S. Lewis. Let's go to the overview, Mr. Producer. Next cut. The Screwtape Letters, if you're just joining us, are a series of correspondence between two demons, Screwtape, the elder mentor, and his apprentice, Wormwood. In these correspondence, Screwtape encourages Wormwood in how to tempt Wormwood's human, quote-unquote, patient, a young man in World War II era Britain. In this thread of conversation, Lewis explores the base temptations of man and how Satan and his tempters may indeed think about our own existence and how they may work to tempt the souls of man. And in chapter 5, we're dealing with the problem of suffering. The problem of suffering, how it is a to the demons and the devils of hell, but also a horrible, horrible thing to be faced. So, in this chapter, Screwtape warns his demonic protege, Wormwood, that the problem of suffering is a two-edged sword. The suffering of the human race could either lead a man away from God or closer to heaven itself. The issue lies in the state of man's heart. So, without further ado, stop me, folks. If you have any questions, you have anything you want us to jump into, just pause me, and we'll run into it. So, my dear Wormwood, it is a little bit disappointing to expect a detailed report on your work and to receive instead such a vague rhapsody as your last letter. You say you are delirious with joy, quote unquote, because the European humans have started another of their wars. I see very well what has happened to you. You are not delirious, you are only drunk. Reading between the lines in your very unbalanced account of the patient's sleepless night, I can reconstruct your state of mind fairly accurately. For the first time in your career, you have tasted that wine which is the reward of all our labors, the anguish and bewilderment of a human soul. And it has gone to your head. I can hardly blame you. I do not expect old heads on young shoulders. Go ahead, Charlie.
I was going to say one thing that I think we should preface before we move any further here. Wormwood, so Screwtape warns his demonic protege, Wormwood, that the problem of suffering is a two-edged sword. If that's how Satan looks at it, how should we look at it?
Oh, yeah.
The same way.
We should be aware.
It's a two-edged sword. And as you listen through this letter today, folks, some of you may be going through some deep suffering. I'm thinking of one of our wonderful friends up in Michigan they're going through some deep heartache with the loss of their 20-year-old son. Mm. And you know, it's a pivotal moment.
Yep.
It is unequivocally a pivotal moment. And I think of all of us that live today, it doesn't matter if you are Christian or not. One of the deep-hearted issues or questions that you have, how do I reconcile good and evil? And especially the issue of suffering. So this letter, I think, is very telling and helpful for us and how we should be looking at things as we move through a suffering moment.
Indeed. So, to carry on, I do not expect old heads on young shoulders. Carrying forward, did the patient respond to some of your terror pictures of the future? Did you work in some good self-pitying glances at the happy past?
Mm-hmm.
Some fine thrills in the pit of his stomach, were there? You played your violin prettily, did you? Well, it's all very natural. But do remember, Wormwood, that duty comes before pleasure. If any present self-indulgence on your part leads to the ultimate loss of the prey, you will be left eternally thirsting for that draught of which you are now so much enjoying your first sip. If, on the other hand, by steady and cool-headed application here and now, you can finally secure his soul, he will then be yours forever. A brimful living chalice of despair and horror and astonishment, which you can raise to your lips as often as you please. So what Lewis is laying out here in the first part, thank you, Mr. Producer, I'm sorry, I want to pause here. Did the patient respond to some of your terror pictures of the future, our imagination? Did you work in some good self-pitying glances at the happy past? When we are focused on ourselves, on our own past, on our feelings, that's why the meditation of the world is so dangerous. Mm. You're supposed to empty yourself. You're supposed to be mindful of your body. You empty yourself out and you're mindful of your presence in the space. Okay. What's the real meditation supposed to be? God actually laid out and commanded meditation. What are we to meditate on? We're to be not emptied.
Joshua 1:8, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
Do you empty yourself or fill yourself with that sort of meditation?
Fill yourself.
So, and again, it's what I was alluding to earlier. It's not about you. It's about the Savior. Stop focusing on the waves, Peter. Look at the Savior whose hand is outstretched to you.
Yes.
Lest you sink in the water. Lest you sink in the water of temptation, sorrow, and misery, look at the hand that is stretched out to you. The moment you take your eyeballs off of that, you're now focused on yourself. You are no longer focused on the source of your salvation. Just a thought. To continue. Do not allow any temporary excitement to distract you from the real business of undermining faith and preventing the formation of virtues. Give me without fail in your next letter a full account of the patient's reactions to the war, so that we can consider whether you are likely to do more good by making him an extreme patriot or an ardent pacifist. There are all sorts of possibilities. In the meantime, I must warn you not to hope too much from a war. Of course, war is entertaining. The immediate fear and suffering of the humans is a legitimate and pleasing refreshment for our myriads of toiling workers. But what permanent good does it do us unless we make use of it for bringing souls to our Father below? When I see the temporal suffering of humans who finally escape us, I feel as if I had been allowed to taste the first course of a rich banquet and then denied the rest. It is worse than not to have tasted it at all. The enemy, true to his barbarous methods of warfare, allows us to see the short misery of his favorites, only to tantalize and to torment us, to mock the incessant hunger which during this present phase of the great conflict his blockade is admittedly imposing. Let us therefore think rather how to use than how to enjoy this European war, for it has current tendencies inherent in it which are in themselves by no means to our favor.
I love this statement. Let us therefore think rather how to use than how to enjoy. If we were going to change the perspective and pull this to a Christian perspective, the Lord speaking to us, let us therefore think rather how to use than to lament or to complain. It's a hard thing. Nikki and I had the blessing of going up and seeing our son in Missouri here and his wonderful wife and their kids this last month. And I listened to Pastor Jesse deliver a message, and the message was tremendous. The title of it was The Paradox of Praise. The Paradox of Praise. And he went through numerous illustrations, but the point he was driving home, we are to rejoice in our tribulations. And what do we often do? We complain.
Correct.
And I think this statement that Lewis makes here, we can see from Satan's perspective, let us therefore think rather how to use than how to enjoy. Satan is enjoying you complaining. That's what he wants you to do. So on the flip side, let us therefore think rather how to use than how to complain.
Yep.
And of all the things, especially at the time of Lewis in writing this stuff, when you think about World War II, there was plenty to complain about.
I mean, this man is living through,
He's living it.
through the bombing of London.
Yes, he's living it.
And as you continue this with us, you'll hear more and more. If you've read it yourself, you know. But as we'll go through it, we'll see that even the bombing of London, you can watch God grow you through the worst of circumstances. So, Screwtape continues. We may hope for a good deal of cruelty and unchastity, but if we are not careful, we shall see thousands turning this tribulation to the enemy, while tens of thousands who do not go so far as that will nevertheless have their attention diverted from themselves to values and causes which they believe to be higher than self. I know that the enemy disapproves many of these causes, but that is where he is so unfair. He often makes prizes of humans who have given their lives for causes he thinks bad on the monstrously sophisticated ground that the humans thought them good and were following the best that they knew, considered too what undesirable deaths occur during wartime. Men are killed in places where they knew they might be killed, and how to which they go, if they are at all the enemy's party, prepared. How much better for us if all humans died in 12 costly nursing homes amid doctors who lie, nurses who lie, friends who lie, as we have trained them, promising life to the dying, encouraging the belief that sickness excuses every indulgence, and even if our workers know their job, withholding all suggestions of a priest, lest it should betray to the sick man his true condition. And how disastrous for us is the continual remembrance of death which war enforces. One of our best weapons, contended worldliness, is rendered useless. In wartime, not even a human can believe that he is going to live forever. I know that Scabtree and others have seen in wars great opportunity for attacks on faith, but I think that view was exaggerated. The enemy's human partisans have always been plainly told by him that suffering is an essential part of what he calls redemption. so that a faith which is destroyed by a war or pestilence cannot really have been worth the trouble of destroying. I am speaking now of diffuse suffering over a long period, such as a war will produce. Of course, at the precise moment of terror, bereavement, or physical pain, you may catch your man when his reason is temporarily suspended. But even then, if he applies to enemy headquarters, I have found that the post is nearly always defended. Your affectionate uncle, Screwtape. When the devil is looking to tempt you the most is not when your circumstances are necessarily the most dire. It's often when you are the most comfortable. Remember, you can always turn to God for comfort. If you are comforted, however, by the world, are you turning your eyes to your Savior? Something for you to think about this week. Am I too comfortable? Or am I in suffering and have I turned to my Savior? Either one of those will work well for this week. Final thoughts going around the room for the week.
Well, I was going to go back to the AI chat box. You know, one of the things the young man was saying about if his wife gave him the ultimatum, and he says, well, no, I have to do this for myself. And remember the AI chat box was encouraging him and doing this and, oh, baby, this, and, you know, talking to him like she was in, yeah, I hear you. But, you know, it got to me thinking, and I need to do this quickly. Charlie and I have to sharpen each other. And what I mean by that, the Bible says iron sharpens iron. And when we got married, we were only 18 and 19 years old. And let me tell you something. He challenges me and I challenge him. And it's not always, oh, great. That's great, baby. Keep going. Sometimes it's like, that ain't smart. You better think about this. We need to have a conversation. You're wrong, you know? And you need that. You don't have to be ugly to people, but you need somebody to challenge you, to make you stronger and to make you better. It's a good compliment to who you are. Make you stronger, yeah.
Indeed. Steve?
Yeah, I'd like to go back to the Benjamin Franklin part, where he's talking about the marriage and in the rural areas and stuff. About that. You know, he's really right about the marriages, and I'm sure Nikki and Charlie can attest to this, that in that part where in the rural areas, people marry younger, and when they do, they're not necessarily worried so much about how much money each one is making or whether or not you're making lots of money. It's about getting married and having kids and having a family.
True.
That's what it's about.
Yep.
Period.
Need to remember.
And in the city, it's about making money.
What's the purpose of marriage?
Yes.
Need to remember that.
Country is completely different, man. I mean, it is a lot different.
Charlie?
I don't have anything that I want to necessarily recap today. I do want to say that I appreciate all those that are listening and support us. And I feel like we give some very strong things to think about, arguments that can be articulated to your friends. And so thanks to Patriot Soapbox. Thanks to all of you who listen and download the podcast.
Absolutely. And we will be praying for you, Billy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Billy
saw that.
Saw that in the chat. I am so sorry to hear that. I'm sure you've been overburdened with recommendations for all sorts of off-book things like ivermectin, but I'm just going to say we're praying for you. Stay strong in the Lord, and you know, just know that God can absolutely use suffering for His glory. It is not His will, but it falls within His permissive will. And so we're praying for you and pray that that gets better soon. I'll leave you all with this also. Just one more time. Suffering is not a good thing. What God does through suffering, however, can be beautiful if you will let it, if you will submit to his will. Submission is a good thing. We all do it. We all submit, unless you are a flaming anarcho, naked in the street, waving, a chainsaw, in the crosswalk. You have submitted on some level for the good. Heaven is about submission to God's will. We will all be fully submitted and intertwined with the mind and heart and will of God because we have submitted. It is a good thing if we submit to him, and if we check our hearts this week, we might be used for God's glory in a beautiful way. With that said, we got nothing else for you. We love you so much. You have a wonderful week.